I want to bring in a witness now to this plane crash. Nathalia Cicari joins us now. Now, you were in the area when this plane came crashing down. Just describe for us what you saw and what you heard.
Yes, thank you. I was really close to the plane when it happened. Okay, I was like having lunch and I heard some really intense noise. It seemed like a drone was circling, but it was like the sound of a drone, but really intense, loud, really intense noise. And then I went to the balcony to see what was going on, if there actually was a drone. But really quickly, I looked up at the sky and I saw the plane like coming right at my zone, at my home, and like spiraling down. And then there was enough time just to think this is coming really close, nowhere to run. So I just laid on the floor and waited. Then all of a sudden, a really intense noise from the plane crash, and the house was like trembling down. And and then I just thought, okay, I'm alive, but something really bad happened. So I went to the balcony again, and there was that really intense smoke. Um, I figured it something really bad had happened. Really intense smoke. It was a really hard crash.
And we see from those images that this plane, it seems to have narrowly missed a house. Is that your neighbor's house?
Yes, it fell right into my neighbor's backyard, and a small a part of the plane hit his house. Okay, um, and but mostly hit his backyard and a small part of his house.
How many people that you've spoken to in the neighborhood were home at the time as his plane came crashing down, which was about 1:30 p.m. local time?
Yes, about 1:30 p.m. Um, I've heard from the neighborhood that this neighbor, owner of the house, was home at the time, he and his family, but nothing happened to them. They were like safe and sound, and they just ran, and they are fine, I've heard. And the whole neighborhood was really crazy about it, and really wondering what's going on, how may we help, and everyone was really desperate.
And this is a major investigation now because all 61 people on that plane sadly died in this crash. Thankfully, no one in the neighborhood was killed when this plane came down. What are authorities telling you and other neighbors about what's going to happen over the next few days? Are you allowed to stay in your home?
Yes. At the moment, the police and the firefighters, they took me off my home because the smoke was really intense, and coming into my home, I couldn't breathe in here. So I took my pets and we left. But now we are able to stay home. The policeman came here and evaluated the situation. They said it's now safe to be here. But I've heard the investigations are going for days now, and they're not saying really much for us like civilians. But there's a major investigation going, and there are lots of people, policemen, firefighters, scientific police, and the whole community helping to understand what happened, and um, what's what's going to happen from now on.
And Natalie, how are you feeling? Because I imagine there's a lot of shock right now.
Yes, at the time I was really shocked because it was really close to me. These plane crashes don't happen usually. So once it does, it's so close to me. I'm guessing it's actually gonna hit my home, and there's nowhere to run. There's no time to run, to be safe. So I honestly today I feel blessed that I'm alive. It's like starting a new life from now on, and I'm sending all my prayers to the people in the plane crash, and their families, because it's really sad what happened, and I can't imagine their pain.
Yeah, our thoughts certainly with the 61 people, their families, who are now dealing with this horrible, horrible tragedy. But thankful that you and your neighbours are safe. Nathalia Cicari, thanks so much for joining us. Well, joining me now is Mary Schiavo, CNN transportation analyst and former Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Transportation. Mary, good to have you with us. We've obviously seen the video falling of this plane falling out of the sky, and we don't know exactly what went wrong, but we've heard you talk about this aerodynamic stall. Just explain that for us.
Well, and the video is very, very helpful because there are some hallmarks of an aerodynamic stall. So, an aerodynamic stall is when the wind, the air flowing over the wings, is not sufficient to keep, literally, to keep the plane in the air, since it's how it goes. And this happens when you lose forward momentum or something else happens. And so, this plane, I've worked on other, accidents in Brazil or other accidents related to this aircraft, and there have been about 18 of them, which isn't alarming because there are hundreds of these planes, but they do have a few things in common. Some of the prior accidents did concern weather and that aerodynamic stall caused by, as Richard mentioned, icing, problems with the weather that interrupted the flow of the air over the wings. And ice does that because this isn't like a sheet of ice that you ice skate on. This ice is like lace. It's like very porous, and it catches the wind and it really destroys your lift. And then another accident recently, and this was in Nepal back in January 2023, was a situation where the pilot, actually it was the second pilot, it was the co-pilot, who, instead of putting the flaps on as they were coming into land, and they were kind of in the same place that this plane was, they were coming into land, they were getting ready to set up to get it down on the runway, and instead of putting on the flaps, the switch next to the flaps was the prop feathering. It changes the positioning of the props, and they lost forward motion. So there have been a couple of similar accidents that have the hallmarks of this one, and certainly that plane falling from the sky looks like those. When you stall, that's what happened. You fall like a leaf out of the sky.
And just how common, Mary, does a stall in flight happen, and how can pilots correct it? How often? Like, is it something that pilots can easily fix in certain cases?
Well, stalls happen so often that is literally one of the first things you learn in flight training. I mean, your instructor, you get in the plane, and one of the first things you're instructed is how to recover from a stall, because they can happen for a variety of reasons: weather, winds, issues with how you have your plane configured, mistakes by the pilot. So what you learn in flight school, of course, right off the bat, is how to recover from a stall. Usually it involves adding power, getting the nose down, and the plane wants to fly out of it. But there are situations where you don't have time to respond, or you don't have time to react, or in a lot of the accidents, including the most recent one in Nepal that I mentioned, the pilots did not notice right away that they were in trouble. They did not correctly diagnose what was going on with the plane, and so they didn't put the correct recovery procedures in. And then, of course, for icing, icing can happen at any altitude. I mean, it can happen up high, it can happen down low. A famous crash concerning Brazil was Air France 447, where a large Airbus was going from Brazil to Paris. And they had a stall above 30,000 feet, and it was weather related. So it can happen at any altitude, but you have to recognize it right away. You have to respond. And if it's too much icing for your plane, you have to get out of it. Well, the only way to get out of it, if your plane can't handle the icing, and this was one of the criticisms of the ATR. That's why we don't have many of them in the States, because, we have a lot of icing in the winter. There's lots of weather. And so if your plane can't defeat the icing through the anti-ice system to prevent it, or the de-ice system to break it off, then you only have one choice. You have to descend to get out of it, or climb to get out of it. And if you're in a situation here where you don't recognize it right away, there's not much you can do if your plane is already in this flat spin, this flat stall, and falling to the ground. So, you know, a lot comes down to training, and a lot comes down to what's going on in that cockpit. A lot of times pilots get distracted.
Well, we will be following this investigation into this plane crash closely. Mary Schiavo, CNN Transportation Analyst, always good to have you with us. Thank you.